Squid Game was designed to test survival, but not every player played fair. Some bent the rules, others outright cheated, and a few even worked with the people running the game. Across both seasons, at least 7 contestants broke the system to stay alive. But did they get away with it? Let's break down every player who cheated in Squid Game. The first player on this list wasn't just a cheater, he was working with the very people running the game. Player 111, Byung-gi, wasn't like the others. While most contestants had to rely on luck and skill, he had something much more valuable: inside information.
I know what the next game is.
Before Squid Game, Byung-gi was a surgeon. That skill alone should have given him an advantage, but he took things a step further. Behind the scenes, he was involved in an illegal organ harvesting operation, secretly collaborating with a group of corrupt guards. In return, he got early access to upcoming games, allowing him to prepare in ways no one else could. It worked for a while. Byung-gi quietly passed the first few rounds, using knowledge no other player had. But Squid Game was never meant to be fair, and the moment his secret was exposed, the game turned on him. After realizing the operation was getting out of hand, the frontman made an example of everyone involved. Byung-gi didn't just lose the game, he was executed for breaking the system. His body, ironically, ended up in the same place as the ones he had been harvesting organs from. But while Byung-gi's cheating was an inside job, the next player didn't have help from the guards. He used brute force and intimidation to break the game. Jang Deok-soo was not the smartest player in Squid Game, but he didn't need to be. While others relied on skill or strategy, Deok-soo survived through pure intimidation. A notorious gangster before entering the games, Deok-soo had one rule: if you can't beat the game, beat the players. And that's exactly what he did. During the first night in the dorms, Deok-soo saw an opportunity. The guards had deliberately left them unsupervised, and while most contestants were exhausted and afraid, he saw it as the perfect time to start eliminating the competition.
Hey, Samang Dong, what are you doing? We're just helping cull the herd.
That night, Deok-soo and his gang attacked, brutally killing multiple players. No strategy, no alliances, just raw survival. And the worst part? It wasn't against the rules.
We'll be able to try and kill them again, as long as we don't die.
Some argue that this wasn't cheating, but simply taking advantage of a system designed to allow violence. Others say that using brute force to eliminate weaker players outside of an official game was its own form of cheating. But Deok-soo's most questionable moment came during the glass bridge game.
The fifth game is glass stepping stones.
Instead of playing fairly, he refused to move forward, forcing others to test the glass first. This wasn't just strategy, it was a deliberate stall tactic, using threats and intimidation to keep himself alive. Technically, this wasn't breaking the rules, but was it cheating? That depends on how you define it. He wasn't disqualified, yet he manipulated the game in a way that clearly wasn't intended. And in the end, the same fear and control that kept him alive led to his downfall. After betraying Han Min-yo, the woman who had once helped him, he learned a hard lesson. If you live by cheating or bending the rules, you die by it too.
You betrayed me. Now you're going to die.
But while Deok-soo used brute force, the next cheater used something far more dangerous: deception. From the moment she entered the game, Min-yo made it clear she would do whatever it took to survive, switching alliances, manipulating stronger players, and even smuggling in a secret weapon. Her first major act of cheating happened during the Dalgona game. Unlike the others who had to rely on strategy and patience, Min-yo smuggled a lighter into the game, secretly melting the honeycomb shape to make it easier to carve out. While others struggled under the pressure, she breezed through the challenge with an advantage no one else had. But Min-yo's real skill wasn't just breaking the rules, it was breaking people. She aligned herself with Jang Deok-soo, using charm and seduction to secure protection. But the second she realized he no longer needed her, she turned against him.
I said I'd kill you if you betrayed me.
Oh, I'm so scared. Miss Han Min-yo. Well, good luck with the game, huh?
Her most infamous moment came in the glass bridge game. Deoksu had spent the entire game forcing others ahead of him, making them test the glass, but Minyo had other plans. Instead of letting him get away with it, she grabbed him, pulling them both to their deaths. Was it cheating? Maybe not, but it was poetic justice. The man who manipulated others was finally outplayed by the woman he underestimated. But while Minyo's deception was pure survival, the next cheater on this list betrayed the only person who trusted him. Unlike most contestants, Sang-woo wasn't forced into Squid Game. He chose to enter after embezzling millions and ruining his own life. He was smart enough to play by the rules, but ruthless enough to break them when it mattered most. His biggest act of cheating came in episode 6 during the marbles game. Paired up with Ali, the only person who genuinely trusted him, Sang-woo quickly realized he was at a disadvantage. Ali was winning, and in Squid Game, losing meant death. So Sang-woo betrayed him in the worst way possible. He convinced Ali that they didn't have to compete, that they could both survive if they worked together. He gave Ali a fake plan, telling him to gather marbles in a bag to trick the guards. But when Ali handed him the bag, Sang-woo swapped the marbles for stones, handing Ali nothing but a bag of lies. Minutes later, Ali was eliminated. And for the first time, Sang-woo proved he wasn't just a player, he was a survivor willing to do anything to win. But cheating has consequences, and in the final game, Sang-woo learned that no amount of deception could change his fate. With no more tricks left, no more betrayals to pull, he lost the only thing that ever mattered to him, his life. But while Sang-woo's betrayal was personal, the next player on this list cheated in a way no one saw coming, because he was never supposed to be there in the first place. From the moment he stepped into Squid Game, Il-nam seemed different. He was the oldest player, the weakest, and yet somehow he always knew what to do. At first it just looked like luck. He picked the perfect shape during the Dalgona challenge. He knew the best strategy to win tug of war, and in the marbles game, he acted confused, wandering around like an old man who didn't understand what was happening.
I'll just play this right now.
This is so strange.
But in reality, Il-nam wasn't confused at all. He was playing everyone. Because Il-nam wasn't just another contestant, he was the creator of Squid Game, the mastermind behind it all. And unlike every other player, he was never in real danger. The marbles game revealed the truth. While other players were executed the moment they lost, Il-nam's death happened off-screen. No body, just an illusion. His cheating wasn't like the others. He didn't lie like Sang-woo. He didn't manipulate like Minyo. He didn't brutalize like Deoksu. Instead, he rigged the entire game from the start, and when he got bored, he simply left. But while Il-nam's cheating was hidden from the other players, the next person on this list had no problem bending the rules in plain sight. Unlike the other contestants, In-ho was never really a player. He was the front man, the one overseeing the entire operation. But in Season 2, he took things further. He disguised himself as a contestant. His goal? To infiltrate the rebellion and stop any threat to the game from within. While the others were risking their lives in each challenge, he already knew which games were coming, which strategies worked, and most importantly, who needed to be eliminated. By blending in with the real contestants, In-ho had the ultimate advantage. He wasn't just a player, he was a spy. And the worst part? No one suspected him. While Byung-gi had inside help, while Il-nam secretly controlled the game, In-ho played both sides. And unlike the other cheaters who were eventually caught, he got away with it. But while In-ho cheated from the inside, the next contestant on this list tried to cheat the system in a completely different way. Unlike most players, Thanos didn't rely on strategy or alliances. Instead, he used drugs and psychological manipulation to stay ahead. From the start, he exploited chaos, and when things got violent, he made sure he was on the winning side. His biggest advantage came during the nighttime massacre, while other players were fighting to survive, but Squid Game has a way of balancing the scales. Eventually, other players caught on to his tactics. The same paranoia he exploited turned against him, leading to his brutal elimination in the players' quarters. Thanos tried to manipulate the entire game, but in the end, the game fought back.